Alrighty guys, welcome back to another one. This time, we're going to be breaking down a vintage Winchester XX Magnum turkey load, max dram equivalent, 1 5/8 ounces of number 4 shot. Yeah, old school here. And this one should be a good one. We have some Trey and Care snooze, a Speedway Big Gulp done half drunk full of coffee. That stuff's actually pretty good. It's about like McDonald's if you guys like McDonald's coffee. And some vintage shells to open up. Like I said, it should be a really fun one. About a year ago, one of you guys was commenting on a video and telling me about the 1 5/8 ounce 2 3/4 inch turkey loads you guys used to use from Winchester. I had never seen them before, but a viewer of the show donated some to me and Josh, so here we go. We have some 1 5/8 ounce Winchester turkey loads in a 2 3/4 inch shell. Now, if you don't know 1 5/8 ounces, well, that is typically a 3-inch payload, but this is in 2 3/4, and I suspect that is due to these not having a shot cup, at least not that I can see. But they might. We never know. It just looks like there's no shot cup in here. If you can't see it, I can. The hull is somewhat translucent. Sadly, I don't have the box, but that's okay. We have a... well, hold on, I don't know. Don't mind the weed eater in the background. Neighbor's messing with his lawn a little bit. But this is steel. I thought it might be brass due to these being a little bit older shell, but nope, that is steel. I checked it with a magnet. But we have a Winchester primer and high brass, of course. Again, it's steel. And again, you can kind of see through this a little bit, but I have no idea how it's loaded. Let's take it apart and find out. Like always, I'll be prying the crimp up with a pair of needle nose pliers, dumping the shot out, and then pulling the wad, if there is a wad, with a pair of pliers. So, let's get into it. And as you can see, these do have the burned in crimp sealant thing. And guys, it looks like Winchester's been doing good by us for years. We have a 1.65 2-ounce payload. That is a little bit more than 1 5/8. See, this is 1 5/8 of just lead. The buffer brings it up to 1.65. 1 5/8 ounces is 1.62, so we have more than 1 5/8, which is always nice to see in a factory load. Either we have more lead than it's supposed to, or we have a full payload plus some buffer. That is, again, always nice to see. However, what is not nice to see in a turkey load is there is no wad in here. We have just a plastic wrap. It's not Mylar. Well, I'll have to pull it out off camera. And here's what that looks like. As you can see, it's definitely not a Mylar wrap, but also not a Teflon wrap. It does have the thickness of a Teflon wrap though, but it looks pretty cool, and it's certainly sturdy enough to get the job done of protecting the shot down the bore. And here's a better view of what the shot looks like. You can see this is fairly large. It looks like a number 4 to me, and it all looks consistent and round, although you can see most of the pellets do have their plating flaking off a little bit, which you would expect due to age. You can't really help that, but it is some pretty decent looking shot nonetheless. Here's what the powder looks like. It is nice and dark, almost black. It is not LS powder. It looks like an older discontinued powder that was called HS7. Now, we have 36.4 grains. It's probably 36.5. The wind is now messing with it a little bit, but if you can see down in here, there is a little bit of powder left behind that I could not get out. Now, that is a plastic base wad. A very low plastic base wad at that. So, yep, this is a 2 3/4 inch straight wall hull that has a lot of capacity to it. Now, this right here is really interesting, these shells are, because it's sort of a blend of a old school and a modern loading. We have a brass plated steel head with a plastic low base wad. We see that a lot in modern hulls. Yet it's loaded with a fiber gas seal, a fiber wad. This is 3/8 of an inch. We have a plastic wrap in it. I'm not sure what material this is. If you guys do, let me know. And then we have shot and buffer. It is absolutely loaded just like a vintage shell would be in a relatively modern hull. If I had to guess, I'd say these are from the late 80s, maybe early 90s, but if you guys know for sure, let me know. I'd love to know exactly what era these are from. And here's what it looks like put back together. I just crimped it on my Load-All, no special tools at all, no taper die, nothing like that. Just a straight up crimp, and it looks excellent. We do have a pinhole in the middle, and that is because these do have the burned in crimp sealant thing that Winchester likes to do. So I'll be putting a little bit of fingernail polish off this, on this, clear fingernail polish, and it'll be sealed. But there is Winchester's XX Magnum Turkey Load, max dram equivalent, 1 5/8 ounces of 4-shot in a vintage shell. Pretty dang interesting if I have to say so myself. But that's going to end this one here, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.